All right, this is the Soa Mahas, and in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the mental conditioning, the system of how the mind affects. Okay, so my second doctorate is in philosophy in the nature of metaphysics. Metaphysics is science of how the mind interacts with matter. Okay, so how the mind affects and is affected, generally how it affects. We don't talk about too much about the effectors, but that would be a growing body for sure. The nature of how the mind affects matter. So I talk about the siddhis, that the higher level. We talk about the nature of siddhis as spiritual powers. Remember, spiritual is a scientific religious combination to denote or describe our relationship with the universe. Okay, it's not fancy, it's not mysticism, it's not anti-religion, it's not anti-science. It's a combination of mysticism and science to affect or talk about our relationship with the cosmos, the universe. My idea or presentation is the cosmos is the global or the whole sizable construct, and the universe, those that are held within the confines. And I say universes. Science has said that there may be multiple universes within the cosmos being bigger than universes. Okay, so siddhis, nothing fancy, nothing unfancy. They're how the mind reacts. Everyone is doing them. How they are developed is 5 ways. Patanjali, Yoga Sutras talks about herbs, birth, mantra, penance, and samadhi. Samadhi being enlightenment or becoming one-pointed focus on learning principles of natures. Enlightenment, being enlightened on a subject, learning, evolving. A growing nature of becoming knowledgeable or wise too. More than intuition, more than rationalization, more than reasoning. It's actual solid foundation until such time as it changes, and then you have to be enlightened again. Okay, so that's a little bit about the siddhis. Siddhis are true because as you are, I mean, there's channelers. That is a siddhi. Deja vu, 6th chakra. 7th chakra, we're talking siddhis, but remote viewing. There are people that are able to remote view. We're not talking astral viewing. Astral viewing is into the stellars, meaning into the universal field. Remote viewing within the locality of Earth. So there's people that could sit in a room. I can picture a sort of, if I put my mind's eye. Remember, you have the atom, that original atom that was within the universe. That atom is within everyone. Specifically, you have the atom splits just as the sperm and the ovum split and form the human. We have the original, that one point source, which we call Adam, not Adam, Adam and Eve, but you know what I'm goofing around with, the atom, not Adam, atom, and it, one point source, one dimensional, atom, becoming 2-point source, a vibration along the z-axis, until it gets so vibratory, the force needs to unleash, and then it becomes what? XYZ axis, 3-dimensional. Check out my book, the book I wrote as Dr. Andrew Precision on the Metaphysics of God and Cosmos. Not a bad read. It's I've advanced stuff a little bit more, but it's powerful enough to introduce the ideas of cosmology. So basic ideas on cosmology. Okay, so the formation is that cities are real. That one atom splits and forms the universe. Not the cosmos, but the universe, okay? That is within everything. That essence is within everything. So where do we go from here? The yogi that describes itself as becoming as small as the atom or can become miniature is not a joke. Guaranteed, I'm not a science boy. Well, I am a science boy, but guaranteed within nature, a scientist could put a comment below this post and say there is an animal that is able to shapeshift. We have a chameleon. It can change colors, right? Wouldn't you imagine there's probably some insect or bug or animal that could, I mean, we know salamanders can get their tail cut off and they grow back something, right? So wouldn't it be not surprising to note that there's animals that could shapeshift or become smaller or bigger? It's not a joke. It's not some imaginary principle that doesn't exist. But simpler still, we know there are people that channel. If you sit quietly, I was going to be a smart ass, but no, if you sit quietly, you can intuit natures of others' mind. That mind reading, that is a siddhi. If you agree that there's one siddhi, you're well on the path to agreeing there's all the siddhis. Do you see where I'm going? And it's extension. You may not know how to do them. You may not have seen them. But when you've seen one, the value add is that now you have the belief in one, so the extension compounds to all others are possible. It's not nonsense. Let's take it like this. The paramedic has a shotgun person. The paramedic has a shotgun patient, and he does some CPR and brings him back to life. That's pretty cool. I bet you there's paramedics on Earth that have done maybe 1, 2, or 3 even people bringing them back from death, quote unquote, coma or quote unquote arrest. Would that be any different? Sure, the latitude. I'm not saying Jesus is a misfit or Jesus is dysfunctional or Jesus is not a god, but wouldn't there be reason to believe that a paramedic could have historical representation of bringing back a dead person or another yogi, per se, bringing back a resurrect? And in that way, he's as powerful as Jesus. I'm not saying as powerful as a healer necessarily, overall healer, because he may not have put the ear back on the centurion or raised the dead over a longer period than, say, a half hour, as Lazarus, is 3 days or whatever number it is. But that, the paramedic bringing back someone from dead, that points to resurrection, which is something that Jesus did. So that is a major city, or a minor city, but a major valued city, not a major city. There are yogis that levitated. I have levitated. Could I do it again? I guess if I put my mind to it, I could probably figure it out. I may have to sit down and meditate for quite a period of time to figure out the conditions again. But no word of lie, I have levitated. There are other yogis. There are people that I've talked to that have watched yogis levitate in a secluded environment. I was on a 21-day after a 21-day water fast, so it becomes a little bit more spiritual to know that could have been why I did it. Clairvoyance or natures of intuition, where during the 21-day water fast, I had a vision. Some call it hallucination. I had a vision of a guy wearing a hockey helmet. And 3 days later, my uncle sent me an email with that exact picture, a little bit fuzzier, a little bit distorted, but 3 days later sent me an email with the guy wearing a hockey helmet with electrodes coming out And that article in the email that he sent 3 days later was responsive of a guy up in Sudbury talking about the God machine and how he's trying to induce electrodes on people's brains, trying to get chemical, and induction of God in inductions. Where does that come from? It's back to that principle that is what is beyond or before the atom. Blackness, void, emptiness, namelessness. That is that. Don't even call it that is that. Don't even call it nameless. It is that. That which is without beginning, without end. Picture it. This could be the first cosmos, it could be the last cosmos, it could be the 14th cosmos. That essence is there. It always was. It's a holding tank with size that is variable, a size that is a shape that is not able to be even seen. Because we witness things with the 5 senses, maybe even higher with the 6 senses, intuition, clairvoyance, or intuition, deja vu, systems of the clairs, the clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairtactience, clairolfactorance, smelling, taste, generally clairolfactance because taste is coming from nose, and clairtactience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairolfactory, and clairaudience. Generally the 5. Those systems, deja vu, intuition, those are higher senses, 6 senses. Then you get into the 7th sense, which is even higher, the samadhis. The omnis of omnipotence, omniscient, omnipresence, those natures. But again, that is not unreal to think that the siddhis are not working. And that growing body is what we're going to talk about, the metaphysics or siddhis. When you believe in one siddhi, the compounds of the 56 minor siddhis, teleportation, mind reading, telekinesis. I'm not going to go through the list. Invisibility. And then the major siddhis, becoming as small as the atom, becoming as large as the universe. Get into the description of what if 2 people did as big as the universe? Well, shit, they'd overlap, wouldn't they? I mean, come on. But becoming as small as the atom, as large as the universe, luridness, meaning heaviness, weightlessness, achievement of any desire, dominion, subjugation, and accessing any locale. Those are the 8 major siddhis. And then the 56 minor siddhis for a total of 64. Check out my book, a very powerful book on the nature of the complete chakra system. If you want to learn the systems beyond, hypothetical theory of how, and a sound hypothetical theory, but a sound theory on the natures of beyond the 7 chakra system, to encompass these 64 principles. And it's a workable. Check that out. It'll extend your mind into the chakra systems. And that's a little bit about metaphysics and the nature of siddhis.